Hi, Scott Sullivan here. A lot of you know me as Sully. Dubb has doubled my business in the last year. You are about to go on a journey with Russ Johns. Welcome to I Love Dubb.
Well, the best thing about Dubb is the fact that I can make so many personal contacts with it, and it's so on point.
Why do I love Dubb? Let me count the ways. One, because my friend Russ Johns uses it and he knows things.
And I'm super excited to be here today. Love my Dubb. And I want to bring a few ideas to the table today and invite the entire Dubb crew here, because we're going to be talking about how you can actually expand your brand, bring a little bit of knowledge and value to your community, and actually up your visibility with utilizing Dubb as a tool. And I've talked about many different ways of doing that. And today we want to specifically go into the idea that we're going to be able to create something unique that you can create once and utilize it over and over and over again. So I want to bring in the CEO of Dubb, Ruben.
Hello.
Bring it in, checking in, Darius, co-founders, and Rob Botts, the creator extraordinaire, because we're going to have a party here. I just want to make sure that everybody's comfortable and, seated in their places. Do you have your seatbelts on, everyone? I got my seatbelt on. All right. So one of the things that I want to talk about today is the opportunity to actually create a mini course leveraging some of the advanced features of Dubb that I believe are incredibly underutilized, at least from what I've seen. You may have a different experience, and we'll talk about that, but also the idea that it's not that complicated to create something that you can actually create a mini course, something that you can actually deliver on a regular basis. People can get to know your personality and all of the things that you can share with your community. So Ruben, I want to ask you, if you have an opportunity to learn something new, how do you approach it, or how do you think about learning new things? What's your goal when you go to learning new topics?
I recently upgraded my YouTube account to a paid YouTube account. YouTube, is it called YouTube Pro?
Uh-huh.
And it changed my life because, a couple of reasons. Number one is I don't have to watch ads when I watch YouTube videos. Number two is I can listen to YouTube videos while doing other things, so I can minimize the app. You can only do that on the Pro app, the paid subscription. I think the answer that I'm formulating here is I start with YouTube.
Start with YouTube.
YouTube is unbelievable. I mean, the amount of information that we have access to. I mean, it almost sounds like it's 2010 when I say this, because I think we all know that. Just Google it, just YouTube it, right? But how many people know that you will change your life if you get a paid YouTube account? Because you'll be able to do certain things and you won't see ads and you'll be focused. How many people know that? Not that many, Not
that many.
Right. So I guess that's a public service announcement to help Google make more money. But really what I'm trying to say is this idea of, rules are made to be broken, I think. And we have a certain duty to understand frameworks, to understand process, to understand, Darius calls it the blueprint method, to see what other people are doing. Darius once taught me that, success leaves a trail. And, what magnificent words to understand. Success leaves a trail. Let's think about that for a second. If there's a company that you want to be like, they're leaving a trail. They have press releases. They have a website. They have, social posts. Go into their historical archive. sort based on the number of views on their YouTube videos and see which one has been most interesting. That's success, right? So if we start to look at, number one is proof. Number two is, process. Ooh, I'm on P's. Oh, proof, process. And then I'll let Rob take the third P.
Well, when you have those first two P's, it gives you the third one, which is perspective. And that's always the power word when you've lived a life and had experience in business, sales, whatever your realm is. I think when you have a process down, you're able to provide the proof of how that process is working. It gives you overall perspective on how the strategy is working and what you can recommend to people out there and what they're doing.
Nice.
I want to dive in a little deeper on that, because Ruben, you bring up a great point, and I think it's really important for everybody to understand that information is no longer it's a commodity. It's no longer expensive to go out and learn something new, and it's like you can go to YouTube and probably take amazing courses and learn a new skill and figure out how to do something, and the beauty of that is kind of a double-edged sword, because number one, when you go to YouTube, the information is packaged in a way that the content creator has delivered it. However, there's on occasion where they'll give you 90% of the information you're looking for. However, that last 10% is like, I wish I could talk to somebody or get a little bit more from this information from this content creator. And that's kind of where I thought about doing this mini course, because you could take a piece of content, you can create it, you can drip it out into a sequence so everybody's not overwhelmed. And then by using Dubb, you can actually have people available to reach out to you directly. And it's very easy. It's not the last screen of YouTube video where you get distracted by the squirrel hunt and the rabbit hole down the hole. So, and Darius, I want to ask you about the sales process, because there's lots of mechanics that you can think through and some of the things that you can maybe take advantages of. And, we want to make sure that we have an opportunity to kind of think through this process before we jump in the deep end of the pool.
I think when it comes to the sales component of what we're going to talk about today, is one of the most difficult parts of sales is following up, right? They say the fortune's in the follow-up, and there's more truth to that than the statement says. And it's the hardest part, because we don't know how many times it's going to take, or if they're listening, or any of that stuff, all those problems and difficulties that come with following up. It's time consuming, it's boring, it eats away at your soul, right? Those little things. And this is where the technology can really allow us to expand our ability to reach people, to touch people. It can actually take much of that follow-up off of our plate, because many of those actions are actually automatable, or I don't know if I just made that word up, but they can be automated. And when I say automated, meaning like if you're going to send an email to a person once or twice a week, like you had a meeting and you're like, hey, so have you decided yet? How many times do you want to send that message, right? That's not a fun message to send over and over again. And instead of doing that, you can do something more helpful, like, hey, I wanted to share some more information with you about the service or product. I wanted to share a step with you about this next opportunity for you. And so by providing information, that's a much friendlier and effective way to follow up. And using the technology, this can actually be done for you automatically, just like Dubb does it. So if in fact you guys sign up to Dubb, you will experience some emails. If you put in a mobile, you'll probably get some text messages. These emails and text messages will all actually be coming from the Dubb platform. So we're welcoming you, we're training you, we're informing you across a series of automatic activities. So that's one example. And we always drink our own Kool-Aid here. We practice what we preach. And so we don't use other technology to do this. We actually use only Dubb exclusively. So you guys can get a look and feel for what you can actually do in your business, much like what you'll experience with John's mini course. So Russ's mini course is gonna be awesome for you guys as well.
And this is Kool-Aid. This is Dubb Kool-Aid that I'm drinking right here, right now.
Practice what we preach.
Well, one of the beautiful things about that is not only do you drink your own Kool-Aid, which I love, and I really appreciate all the work that you do, and also I know that Darius is in the back. He's doing courses and training every day at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you want to reach out to Darius, go take a class, sign up for your free trial, and make sure that you have an opportunity to join the Dubb crew. It's an amazing community, and there's a lot of people and a lot of support. And I just want to make sure that you also know about on YouTube with the Dubb app, Ruben and Rob are doing the Rev Show they're publishing that on a regular basis. So it's not only technical tips and suggestions and recommendations, but it's really about the sales process and how to think about business. So there's a lot of golden nuggets in that thing. So maybe you could walk us through that and what the goal and the initiative is in that, Rob.
Yeah. So the main idea and kind of thrust behind Rev Show is we really want to get strategies out there to people that are sales professionals, sales teams. They could be well-known strategies that have been there for years, and maybe we're giving you a slightly different take on it, how they relate to using video when doing these kinds of things. And also recognizing older or antiquated traditions in sales that really aren't up to par with what the world is currently like and how communication and business is done now. So it's really about bringing awareness to a lot of sales professionals about what's out there, but also giving the Dubb take, through the lens of video. What does that look like when you take that and you apply it to what we do here at Dubb with asynchronous content selling? We also try to have, and Ruben knows this, we try to have a little funny back and forth banter. We try to bring a little creative spin to everything. And we just want to feel like we're really, number one, educating, number two, entertaining, and then number three, most importantly, elevating sales leaders and their teams when they check out an episode. So that's really what it's about.
I love the Rev Show and some of the things you bring to the table, because they're not necessarily directly related to your app. It's not really directly related to Dubb, but it's associated with the ecosystem that Dubb supports. And whether you're in sales, you're working with automation, you're working with some of these things, it's still adding value to the community. And that's why I wanted to bring to the table about the idea that you could create something that you could deliver to your community on a regular basis. And one of the things that I really think business owners need to think about as they expand their brand and their visibility and their authority and everything that goes along with that is you have to continue to add value. And one of the challenges that I suspect most people understand is I can't sit there every day and create something new and fresh and put it out on social. So there's some tools you can use within Dubb that will allow you to actually create something once and leverage that again and again. And one of the things that I did, you can actually sign up for the Dubb mini course, which is an example of something that I've done with the, let me change this out. So the Dubb mini course allows you to go to a landing page, sign up using a Dubb form, and then trigger automation that allows you to actually receive every day some new piece of information that allows your community to understand what you're doing. You can deliver a product launch. You can instruct them on what to do, take them on a journey. And I know, Rob, that you've talked a lot about the journey perspective and what's going on. And you and Ruben have really accelerated that thing in the Rev Show. So maybe you could talk about taking individuals on a journey and how you can actually think that through from a logical perspective.
Ruben, go ahead. You start.
Well, this morning when I was having my smoothie, which is sort of a daily ritual now, I was thinking about if I was an advertiser or a marketer or a salesperson for a blender, how I would sell the blender. And the first thing that came to my mind was this blender is so awesome. It can blend an iPhone. That's a shout out to to the Will It Blend YouTube show from forever ago. You Google that; it's hilarious. But I sort of landed on this idea that it's not a blender and it's not a smoothie that I'm selling. It's 7 years to your life. It's having a longer, richer life of health and happiness because you're having this awesome, great, healthy smoothie every day, right? And it's easy to clean and maintain and so on and so forth. And, I think about the same thing when I think about how we can enable sales leaders, which is what we do on Rev Show and Dubb as a platform and really as a larger community, which is that we're ultimately helping others to help others to get more happiness. That's really what it comes down to, right? The reason why we buy products and services for personal or professional reasons is to gain happiness, to remove friction, to make something easier, to make it work better, to make it sound better, like that Fender Telecaster right there, which is out of this world. That's the reason why we buy stuff. And, that's what we've really dedicated our lives to, whether it's through our content on Rev Show, YouTube Rev Show, which I have to give a huge shout out to Rob because, he's come up with so many innovations and so many creative ways to allow us to entertain, to educate, and to elevate people, which is sort of our mantra for the show. What I bring to that table is a lot of over complexity and about 7 webcams. And what he brings to the show is personality, comedy, and simplicity. So I am the first person to say this, that, if you're surrounded by gear and tech and you're selling features like the blades on that blender and the fact that it's dishwasher safe and the fact that it will last for 3 years with a warranty, rethink something, go back to the purest things of life, go back to simplicity, go back to happiness, because ultimately that is what people want to buy. And guess what? You can't buy happiness. And that's for us where you got to get into those and teach us about purpose and teach us about, storytelling and teach us about how to have fun with this,
Yeah, I was going to say, Ruben, your thing that you mentioned this a few days ago, it's really an important kind of statement. When we were kind of downsizing the stuff for Rev Show, we had all the different equipment. We're really simplifying. We only would have understood simplification if we didn't complicate first. So I feel like you said, you kind of have to go through that process of realizing I did all this and I went on this complicated journey, but only now do I understand the simplification works. So sometimes you have to go on that journey just to understand it. And that's something that was a pretty cool statement. So,
well, that's a great point, because sometimes we have to experiment to get the experience we need to move forward. And I also want to point out that the results is the outcome a lot of people are looking for. It's not necessarily, I don't want to complicate the process. I don't want to necessarily buy a drill. I just need a hole. And so the analogy that I want to use with Dubb and bringing it back to this equation is, if you can actually create something once and engage many times and allow yourself to think through that process and take the time to develop something that's going to repeat the connection and enjoy and kind of share that information, what you do is you buy back time. Because ultimately what we all looking for, like you're talking about, Ruben, if you're adding 5 years to your life, that's time. And
7 years.
7 years. 12. Let's go to 12. I like 12. So the reality is let's buy back some time by utilizing the tools that we have available to us. And one of the best tools that I found to use in my business in building relationships and community has been Dubb. So I want to be able to, shout that to the highlight. That's why I'm the number one fan, self-proclaimed number one fan of Dubb, is that I have
checks in the mail.
Checks in the mail. and the reality is we can buy back time. And the way that we do that is by creating something that we can actually share out and continue to share out. And it's just an easy process that creates a wow factor for anybody that enjoys it. And I want to talk a little bit more, Darius, about the mechanics of how we can actually put that together and what we need to think about when we're creating like a drip campaign or an email segment that we can use automation in. So maybe you can dive into that a little deeper and get us going on that.
The main concept here is we go back to the busy salesperson, right? With the soul crushing workload of like 1,000 follow-ups they have to do. Go back to that and imagine if you were that person and you had all the time in the world, you had all the patience and all the whatever you needed to get all that done. What would you say in each of those messages? They'd probably be nearly the same message to all the people, right? It'd probably be the same message going out to all those people on regular sort of intervals. I'm going to follow up with these people Monday, these people Tuesday. So when you imagine that you take the time, you had the time to do that personally, to type these things, you can now take that same message and use the technology to send it to any number of people automatically on that schedule that you would have done yourself. So the first step I always say is, if you had all the time in the world, what would you write? What would be the first message you would write to that lead that you had an appointment with, but then ghosted, right? Didn't show up. Or maybe it's someone that just filled out a form on your website and now you got to educate and indoctrinate and get them to convert. So just pretend it's a brand new lead. What would be that first message you'd write to them? Hey, I saw you filled out my form. Welcome to my audience. Let's get you educated. So something like that you might write on your first message. What about the second one? You'd say, hey, saw you've been around for a day. Here's some information about our product or service. What might you say on the third one? Hey, let's schedule an appointment, right? You'd go through systematically. You wouldn't write the same exact message, but overall, the concept would be, what would you say if you had all the time in the world? You write those 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 emails, however long that sequence might be. If you have a long sales cycle, like if it takes you 6 months to sell somebody or to get them to become a paying customer, which isn't uncommon, right? You know that you need to provide touch points for 6 months at least. So maybe that's once a week, once a month, or at least, right, that you're going to reach out to them. So you take that concept and then you write those messages out ahead of time. You pretend, here's those 10 messages that I'm going to write to this people over this 2-week, 3-week, 1-month period. You actually create those messages. Then using the technology, you're going to plug them into Dubb, into a series of automatic emails or texts or whatever you're looking for that are going to go out at those intervals that you've chosen. And then you're going to group your audience members. Maybe you have different audience people, right? You have filled out a form on the website is one audience. And then you have past clients that actually purchased something. And you want to send 2 different types of messages to those people, right? The past clients, you just want to talk to them maybe once a month forever, right? Hey, I'm still here. Let's do business sometime. And then the new people, you want to touch them every day for 14 days, right? So you can get them to convert. So that's an example of how you're going to have 2 different types of workflows. That's going to make your life that much easier, because now everyone that should be getting messages is getting them, and you're not having to sit there and do them. You sat down one time and planned your messages for a whole year or more.
So the message I come away with, Darius, and thank you so much for that update, because it's really about create it once, use it multiple times. That idea and that conversation that you have over and over and over again, you can actually capture some of those topics. And even if it's a variation of the same answer, you can respond to it in a unique way that people are surprised. And I constantly get updates and saying, wow, thanks for the video. I loved it. And you can actually add additional information in those videos, and there's a sequence. And also the other thing that I want to remind people of is as a live streamer and the opportunity to invite guests, I created hundreds of invitations and announcements and follow-up with Dubb, using Dubb. And I have to say my follow-up sequence always gets, I get some feedback from it. And it's all positive. And it's because I use Dubb for my introduction to an invitation. They book a time that works for their schedule. And all of a sudden, the follow-up and the notifications and everything else that is involved is easy because I've created it once and I can continue to use that over and over again. So that's the same process that, Rob, I think that you have talked about many times on the Rev Show. So maybe you can expand that a little bit on some other examples of use cases in the business.
Yeah, it's it really comes down just to a number of different strategies that we've seen gain some footholds. And I think the only way about really knowing that, and this is Darius is one of his favorite phrases, is A/B testing. You know what I mean? Like really figuring out, what works, what doesn't work, and different audiences, are different. But so for us, I think one of the strongest like strategies that we try to apply all the time is really benefits over features. And a lot of that is, it's coming from like a tech company like we are. We have amazing features, but again, it's about really emphasizing the end outcome of what those features end up doing for you. And it's really that understanding that the outcome, like the salesperson has the outcome, the prospect has an outcome, and they both see these outcomes. It's all about really meeting that vision together and saying, okay, because of the incredible features and technology that we have, and recognizing what that will do for you, that's really about seeing the same vision. And that's when strategies work their best, when both the prospect and the salesperson get their goals met and they're both looking at that same mountain down the road.
Well,
Ruben, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, there's two quick things that I'll add. One of them involves a pirate, and then the other involves a very common adage that we use. So the adage that a lot of us think about is this idea of set it and forget it. And, Dubb is not that. Dubb is not set it and forget it. Dubb is set it and use it if you want to, and then remember it. And the reason why you're going to remember it is because people are going to tell you, thank you, Russ, for sending that video. How did you do that? And then
it's like, can you teach me how to do that?
Right.
Well, yes, I can. LoveMyDubb.com.
Right. Exactly. So LoveMyDubb.com. And the second story that I'll quickly share is on the second most famous pirate on the internet, Captain Jack Sparrow. The first, of course, being Russ Johns. That's obvious, right? So the reason why we like that character so much in Pirates of the Caribbean, in my opinion, is because of the personality. It's the opposite of a lot of the things that we think about when we think about a pirate, right? He's vulnerable, he's silly, he's goofy, he's a klutz, he's hilarious. He's so fun to watch. That character is a lot of fun to watch. And I think the reason why that character has resonated with people in so many ways is because it's very authentic, and he's bringing legitimate comedy, and he's showing that he's a real human. He's not like Captain Blackbeard, who's like this mythical pirate that is just, I don't know, pure genius, pure evil and genius. In this case, he's vulnerable. And I think that, one of the things that we encourage people to do when they're sending Dubb videos out, we do this in Rev Show on YouTube, we do this in our tutorial videos, we do this in our blog posts, is we remind people that the reason why people are working with you is not because you're perfect, it's because you're imperfect, and it's because of the traits that make you who you are. And that's why people are connecting to you, because they want to connect with like-minded individuals, to be on a journey with someone else. Because we all know that the person that thinks that they're perfect or sells perfection is the opposite of that, and they're sort of living in this strange dream. So the story here is to be more like a pirate, and to be authentic, and to be vulnerable, and to be a gentle person. My lady, there was some cool traits where he was gentle. He had manners. And, we encourage that on video. It works. Why not? It's the right thing to do.
I love that, Ruben. And thanks for the pirate analogy, too, because, we have a lot of people. Gabe, thank you for being here. Really love teaching and learning. Gabe's an awesome live streamer that's out there every day doing things. Joseph, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you. Michael Baker joined us earlier today, and also Charlene Brown. Thank you so much, Charlene. I really appreciate all the engagement and the opportunity to actually share this information every Wednesday at 12:15 Pacific Standard Time. We'll get together, share a few examples of how Dubb is utilized, maybe some business examples of how you can think about it in your business, and also just overall engagement and being able to, expand your brand, your visibility, your authority, and actually get out there and make it matter, make a difference in the world, because we all deserve an opportunity to get out there and share some valuable information that somebody's searching for. And I think Dubb is the best way to approach it. Get started with Dubb. You can get a hold of me. And also Darius puts together a training at 10 a.m. every morning, Monday through Friday. And so sign up for a Dubb experience, go through the process, sign up for your free account, and get started. Any last words from the crew here?
I got one.
You got one?
I got one.
You got a dad joke for us?
Yeah, it's some dad wisdom. If you can make someone smile, you can make a connection with them. If you can make someone laugh, you can have a conversation with them. Rob,
and if you make them happy, you'll convert them.
Exactly. It took us a while to figure that one out, and we're still getting the kinks out, but it's nothing farther than the truth. And what we're talking about really here is humanity, humor. Oh, we got some H's, Rob.
All right.
Humanity, humor.
And
good thing this is being recorded.
And the halo effect. And the halo
effect.
There it is.
Humanity, humor, and the halo effect that it brings you. Which is this idea of if we can really make people laugh and engage with them and bring them joy, then they're attracted to us. They want to work with us. And to the folks that just sent us some comments, thank you for watching. Charlene, Joseph, Michael, and to whoever else is watching, really appreciate you guys, and we're here to support you. And really, your success is our success.
And thank you. That's why I hang out with this crew, and always remember that kindness is cool and smiles are free. And I just want you to make sure that you enjoy your day and come back every Wednesday, 12:15, and get your dose of happiness with a halo going forward with the Pirates, right?
Yeah. The humorous Pirates. There it is.
The humorous Pirates. All right, guys. Until next time, we'll see you later.
See you guys. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.